Hey there, Jonathan here, Magic Peace Love. I'm here to do a review of the Orbit decks. The 5th edition Orbit deck has just come out, and I've decided to kind of review all 5 editions so far and tell you what I like about each one. I'm not an expert on cards. I'm not a cardist. I am a card magician. I've been into cards for many, many years, longer than many of the people watching this probably. And so I have all 5 of them here. I also have 5 here. These are just sealed ones, and that's just to make you jealous. Yeah. I've known Chris since he was 19. He was an amazingly talented beatboxer. He started hanging out at a magic show I was doing with some friends. My friend Will, who was associated with him in the Magic Garage in the Sunnyvale area and the Bay Area. And Chris started hanging out and learning magic bit by bit, and he just like, whoo, just sucked up stuff like a sponge, just absorbed all kinds of magic and got super talented really fast. And since then, he's just exploded all over the place and come out with all these cards. And so let's talk about these cards. This is the 1st edition. Now, one thing that he has in common on all of these, 23 is his favorite number. It's kind of a sacred number for him, and so he's got 23 on the case here. I'm not going to go into all that means, don't ask me, but 23andMe is the gene company, so 23 has relations to that and lots of other things. He's also got, you'll notice on the bottom, there's a circle on the 1st edition, and then he kind of went with a spaceship logo for the other ones on the bottoms of the boxes. The side, they all say what edition it is, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And yeah, the faces are different. We'll look at them all. You can kind of compare them all here and see what they look like and decide for yourself which one you like best. But let's go over them one at a time. So, 1st edition. Now, in a certain way, this will always be my favorite because it's the 1st, and I really legitimately love the design of this. I love the circle. I love how clean and crisp it is. Every card magician who does any kind of cardistry is going to look at this thing with a circle and say, what's that going to look like when you spin it on your hand? And Chris has said that that was his motivation as well. And it's just obvious if you're a card guy. So it's a beautiful design. And the other thing about these is that they have a giant border. And Chris, I just heard him at the jam, the cardistry jam he did for the 5th edition when he released it, and he said that he originally hated these borders. They were much wider than he expected, and then he kind of grew to love them. I love them. I've loved them all the way since the beginning. To me, that real thick white border is just very dramatic. It just gives it a really strong, unusual feel. It doesn't feel just like another card. It's got that thick border, and yes, if you spin it, you get this nice quality where the circle kind of stays in place on your finger if you're spinning it like that. So right away, there's a kind of a tactile quality for magicians that they're going to pick these up. Other than that, I mean, and I love the color, I should say. It's a dark, rich blue. Don't ask me what the color is. So I think he did a beautiful job with that. Nice little details on the tuck case. It says persist and endure, which is one of his other slogans, persist and endure. He has that tattooed on his arm, I believe. And yeah, distributed by Orbit Brown Company, San Jose, California. So I think Chris really did a great job with these. It was a Kickstarter, and a lot of people supported him. Other than that, not too much exciting here. The Jokers are pretty cool. He's into the space kind of theme, so he has an astronaut design there. I can't remember the name of the artist who made these, but that was the one. And it says 23 right there, down there on the, looks like a tombstone, but I guess it's on the moon, so I don't know what it is. But so those are the Jokers. And then there's an extra 8 of spades, and that's just because if you lose the 8 of spades, it's nice to have a replacement one. You're probably thinking, what happens if you lose the 7 of spades or the 4 of diamonds? Then you're screwed. But, you know, obviously he can't give you a replacement card for every card, or he would just give you 2 decks of cards. So he gives you 1 extra card, the 8 of spades. And if you're going to lose a card, it's best if you lose the 8 of spades, right? And there's another Joker. And then you also get this card. This is kind of an advertising card that he has. So the back design is that, and on the face, it's just the back design. So he's advertising. It's like those advertising cards they have, and that's what that is. So, and the only other thing of note in here, the cards themselves are fairly straightforward. The design, there's nothing really special about them. They are, I believe, Arco designs, so it's a slightly different font than the bicycle cards, I believe. But the ace is kind of cool. A little bit plain. Just says 23 on the middle and has that thing. So overall, I mean, it's not a super ambitious design for the cards, but the back design is really great. I love these thick borders. It's a very dramatic, strong design, and I'm kind of into art and design, and so I think they're awesome cards. So I'm really fond of these ones. They have a nice feel to them as well, have kind of silkiness to them, which I've really appreciated. I'm not an expert at card stocks. I tend to use all kinds of different cards when I perform. But they're pretty thick. It's a pretty wide deck of cards, but they did seem to handle nicely. I really, really enjoyed playing with these cards, and aesthetically, I think they're really beautiful. So good job, Chris, on the 1st edition. Second edition comes out. What does he do new on the second edition? Well, I say he's changed the bottom, and still says 23 on the top. And I guess he's actually added a rocket ship onto the sticker on there, which is kind of nice. So that's a nice little addition. On the inside, it not only says persist and endure, but it also says, which is very hard to read, but I've read it before, the closer you get to the cosmos, the harder it is to look back. So it says that across there as well. So little inspirational messages. Too, you'll notice on the box, I don't think they have those here. These little flaps have nothing on them. But on this one, he has added just little details, added a little Earth on here and a spaceship on this one. So it's nice to have these extra little details on the box. The cards are very similar. He did decide to go with a narrower border, which I personally don't like as much. To me, this is way too narrow. So if you look at the border on this compared to the border on these ones, I should leave these out so you can kind of see. You'll see it's a much thicker border on the original first edition than the second edition. Also, I'm not a big fan personally of this color, kind of this maroon color. I will admit it does look really nice with the blue, so they make a very nice pair. So the red deck, blue deck, you got this really dark blue and this maroon. So I feel it. I really do like that. It's just as a color to carry these around and perform with, I just never quite warmed to them the same way. Other than that, the jokers are the same. You still get an extra 8 of spades, so again, if you lose a 7 of spades, you're fucked, but if you lose the 8 of spades, you're in good shape. And the advertising card for the deck and the other joker. But he has gotten nice with the ace here. You'll notice the ace is now on this other one here. You just had this real mundane ace on the first edition, that one there. And so he definitely upped his game on the ace. It got a lot cooler. It got that nice little space image there with a in the middle of the spade, and it says persist and endure the Orbit deck, orbitbrown.com. It has number 23 right down there underneath it as well. So he's added a 23 over there. And other than that, I'm probably going to make a lot of enemies by saying I don't know if this is a different font than that one. I think it's the Arco font. So if you look look at the number 3, it's a little more blocky than the 3 on a bicycle deck. You've got a little bit stronger squared serifs on these, but other than that, it's kind of straightforward deck of cards, but they're very nice. It's the second edition. A little bit of an improvement over the first, not huge. Nice stock, maybe a little silkier stock. Again, probably going to get a lot of people getting mad at me because I don't know what kind of stock he's using on each of these cards. But I do like them. I had fun using them, and I had no problem with them. I was not crazy about the narrow border. I say the color didn't thrill me that much. I way prefer this thick border on this one. But so the question is, what's he going to do for number 3? Well, number 3... he really got decadent in a way that I really dig. I think these are really, really fun design. Again, you have the same 23 on there. Orbit playing cards. Pretty similar, a little bit more stuff. The purple is a really cool color, I got to say. That's just right away, that was sort of fun. Same persist and endure, same stuff on the box. So again, very similar. I do think this back design is quite a bit nicer than this one, certainly. I'm still fond of the basic dark blue. But if you're going to get away from that, this was cool. And it's kind of hard to see on there. It does have spacemen, so those are like space suits over there, and there's some other details in here that you can kind of take a look at if you stare at them. So this is a really nice deck. This did feel like a much softer cardstock, which I really dug. It's got kind of a silky quality to it. Again, I could be wrong. Someone's going to tell me it's exactly the same as the second edition, but I think it's a softer cardstock. I'd have to check with Chris to see exactly. But nevertheless, again, you still have the 2 jokers over here. You have the advertising card and the extra 8 of spades and the other joker, and again, the same ace, like so. And I think that's it for these as far as what's new and exciting on these. Other than that, the deck is still pretty much the same cards. Yep, yeah, all those. Exactly. So basically, the back design was what changed on these, and that's a welcome change. That definitely is a lot nicer in a way than these, a lot more designed, and it's just a really cool color too. So I really dug these. I enjoyed playing with them. They have that nice silky quality, as I say, that I really enjoyed on the 3rd edition. There's I'll put number 3 over there. There you go. 4th edition. This one I'm not as crazy about this design. Again, the box is pretty much all the same. I don't think he changed anything in here. Persist and endure, this stuff here. Just as a back design, it just felt a little cluttered. I mean, I like the idea conceptually of 2 rocket ships, and there's little dots for the stars. It just didn't quite work for me as much aesthetically. Although it is nice that when you spin it like this, you get these rocket ships over there, and when you make a fan out of it, you got that line up here that you don't get if you make a fan with, say, this first edition. You just get kind of a nice, smooth See if I can even get a decent fan. Oh god, this deck's in terrible shape. All right, maybe this one here. You can see when you make a fan with these, you just end up with just a fan, you know, no design on the fan. And when you're a cardist or you're interested in cardistry, which is doing kind of manipulation with cards, not sleight of hand, but more like juggling with cards, and then it is actually nice to have this stuff because you do get these lines on there as things are going around and things turning around. If you're popping things around this way, you can get some really nice effects out of that, as I say with the others. But I can't really do any of that stuff. There we go. So, but again, if you look, it's got all the same. The Joker's the same. This stuff is the same. There are some nice changes here, though, besides the extra card and the advertising card there. The King of Hearts is his dad, which is kind of nice. So that's actually an image of his father. And there's a cool thing on this, which is that it's missing the pip over the king, or under the king there. You have a heart right under the king on this side, but there's no heart on that side. That we discovered was an accident. It was discovered one of the rare nights that I did not attend the Magic Garage, which is our local magic gathering, but that day he brought these in here and someone noticed it was missing, and apparently he was not happy about it until we all convinced him, and I told him later, I think, that I love the fact that it was missing the heart. So to me, that was just a really cool thing about this card, that it was missing that card. And it's his father. And that is actually Chris, the Jack of Diamonds, and the Queen of Diamonds is his wife, Holly. So nice little addition there. The ace is the same and all the rest of the cards are the same, but nice addition of having his wife on the Queen of Diamonds and Chris Orbit Brown himself on the Jack of Diamonds and the King of Hearts and these cards. So that's the 4th edition. Again, nice softer stock, which I really like though. So again, I used these quite a bit for a while just because I love the stock, that kind of silkiness to them. But the back design, I say, not my favorite. I way prefer number 3, to be honest, because I just thought that was a cool design. And it's nice that these are black, so black is a cool color for pretentious magicians and cardistes and whatever. I'll put this over here so we can get a nice thing. Now this brings us to this one. This one is fucking fantastic, I gotta say. I mean, I sort of in a way will always love the 1st edition because it's so dramatic, but this is a quantum leap. It really is a very nice deck of cards. Right down to the box. You might notice that all these boxes are glossy. They're kind of a glossy finish, which is sort of standard on card boxes. This one is a matte finish, so it's got kind of a hipster look to it. This is like if Wes Anderson designed a deck of cards. It's got these muted colors. It's much more muted all around. You've got this wonderful green and orange, which looks a little bit like 3D glasses sort of stuff, if you looked at it with 3D glasses. It's got this sort of odd, goofy thing here, but it looks great when you fan them. So other than that, I think the box is pretty much following the same design cues. It still says persist and endure, but here it says it in orange. He's added the color, which is really nice. So you've got persist and endure in orange. You've got orange here. You've got orange all around there. These, I'm sure, cost him quite a bit more to do. And orange on the inside, which is fantastic. And it says the Orbit Deck, Orbit Brown. Oh, at the Orbit Deck. Oh yeah, because he's on Instagram as well. You should definitely follow him if you're into the Orbit Deck. And the cards themselves are fantastic. I mean, just that box. That is so much, what a leap from, you know, any of these other standard boxes, you know. This is just an elegant piece right there. It's just really a pleasure to look at. The back design is, I say, it's not as beautiful as those ones, but the color really gives you popping fans when you do a fan with these things. Should see if I can make a nice big one like that for you so you can kind of see. And all kinds of cardistry and things like that. They look really nice. It's going to get that fairly soft stock. I'm not sure if it's as soft as the 3rd and 4th. Probably. It's hard to tell because it's a brand new deck. Just got it yesterday because he just had the jam yesterday. But as I say, the colors are really fantastic. And the color actually bleeds over the edge as well, which is a really nice feature too. You get that orange thing on the edge there. So definite nice thing. Muted colors. See how glossy this is? This one's muted. The colors are very muted. The printing is muted and kind of faded. I say again, it's like a hipster thing. I expect, you know, a guy with a little beard to come out and start doing card tricks and telling me I'm a terrible human being. The Joker's is, of course, a nice jump as well. Let's see, here's the old, from the 4th edition. He's added color, which is, again, just pops it really nicely. And I don't even know if it's the same image. I think it is the same image, but the color is just fantastic. No, it's a little different, a little bigger face. But again, a really nice addition to that. Again, an extra 8 of spades and the advertising card and another Joker right there. It's a matching Joker. And again, you have Chris Brown and his wife Holly and his father, but all kind of faded off. You'll notice if you compare the ink on these cards, let's say take one, how weird. Oh, here we go. If you compare the ink on one of these cards, like here's the Jack from the other one, you can see that it's a much more muted look. And I think it's cool. I mean, you're kind of used to seeing bright, shiny cards, but these things are very nice. And the ace, oh, that's a really nice thing as well, to have that ace. Where's the ace? Here you go. If we compare those to go color on the ace and have the earth, the pale blue dot kind of visible, and the American flag has color on it, which of course is a patriotic man. I'm very thrilled that it has that. But just really nice little details on this thing that add to that. And as I say, I really dig the faded colors on the all the suits. Wow, how come this is so separated out? I thought I shuffled these. But anyway, so really nice cards. As I say, I really dig that this stuff. I am kind of sad that that his dad now has the little heart back on his king, because it's not missing it. I really dug that it was missing one, but that was, as I say, not intentional. Other than that, nice big heart on the aces. The ace of spades is really colorful. And just fantastic cards. As I say, I really dig this faded print on these. And I really dig this back design. I think it's really cool with the orange stripe. So this is going to be a big hit for Chris. I hope so, at least. Good for him. So I do highly recommend the 5th edition. And I'm not saying that because he's my friend, because I had no trouble bashing the other ones. Oh, I like them all. But this one really is a kind of a game changer, for at least for Chris, I would say. It's a major, major step forward and a beautiful deck of cards. So highly recommended. So that's my review of the 5 editions of the Orbit decks. They're all available on orbitbrown.com. I have no affiliation except that he's an old friend of mine, but I don't have no financial affiliation. So anyway, enjoy, check them out, and I'll see you next time.